Today, we're diving into the story of a true cricket legend. We're talking about a player who was more than just a sportsman, really. He was a phenomenon who carried the hopes of a billion people every single time he walked out to bat. Of course, I'm talking about Sachin Tendulkar. He was so good, his technique so unbelievably pure, that the one man considered the greatest batsman of all time, Sir Donald Bradman, actually saw a reflection of himself in Sachin's game. Can you imagine? That is probably the highest praise any cricketer could ever receive. So let's get into the career that earned such an incredible compliment.
He achieved something that, well, it sounds almost mythical, a record that might just stand forever. A century of centuries. That's 100 different times he scored over 100 runs in international cricket. Nobody had ever done it before, and no one's done it since. Just unbelievable.
And over a career that stretched an incredible 24 years, he built a literal mountain of runs, more than any other player in the history of the game. A number like this, it just screams longevity and consistency. So the question is, how did a young boy from Mumbai become the most worshipped cricketer in the entire world?
So here's how we're going to break it down. We'll follow his incredible journey, from being this young talent making waves in school cricket all the way to becoming a global icon. We're going to look at his amazing triumphs, the struggles that really tested him, and of course, the monumental legacy he left behind.
Okay, so where does a story like this even begin? Well, for Sachin, it all started when he was just 11 years old. His brother Ajit saw this raw talent and energy in him and took him to a legendary coach, Ramakant Atrikar. And that meeting, that wasn't just a turning point. It was the start of a life dedicated to one simple mantra: eat, sleep, cricket.
Now, what's really crazy about this is just how fast everything happened. Think about it. In 1988, he's a schoolboy breaking world records. By the very next year, he's walking out onto the field to face some of the most feared bowlers on the planet, all while wearing his country's colors. It was just a meteoric rise.
And on that brutal first tour of Pakistan, this 16-year-old kid faced the literal baptism by fire. A bouncer from another debutant, Waqar Younis, smacks him right on the nose. A lot of players would have crumbled right there, but not Sachin. He just waved away the medics, wiped the blood off his face, and got ready for the next ball. In that one moment, he proved he didn't just have talent, he had unbelievable courage.
So he'd shown the world he was tough as nails. But now it was time to show them his genius. It was never enough for him to just survive out there. He was born to dominate, and he was going to do it on every single continent.
And this just shows you how adaptable he was. He wasn't just a star on the slow pitches back home in India. No way. At just 17, he saved a test match for India in England. Then, at 19, he goes to Perth, one of the fastest, bounciest pitches in the world, and scores a century that left even the experts speechless. He could master any conditions you threw at him.
His opponents saw it right away. During that Australian tour, the fast bowler Merv Hughes actually turned to his own legendary captain, Alan Border, and made that famous prediction. Even the toughest competitors on the field knew they were watching someone truly special.
And his battles with other players became the stuff of legend. None more so than his duel with the Australian spin wizard, Shane Warne. Back in 1998, in the scorching heat of Sharjah, he played two of the greatest one-day innings anyone had ever seen. They're now famously called the Desert Storm. He prepared like crazy for it, and then just completely dismantled the entire Australian attack to win the tournament for India, pretty much all by himself.
But a hero's journey is never a straight line, is it? Sachin's career was filled with just immense pressure, injuries that could have ended it all, and some really difficult moments that tested his spirit to the absolute limit. He really went through it. The weight of being captain just proved too heavy. A painful tennis elbow injury actually threatened to end his career. Then came a dip in form, which led to some cruel headlines like Endolkor. He even had to deal with off-field controversies. After a disastrous World Cup in 2007, he was so down he actually considered retiring from cricket altogether. But here's the thing. Sachin's story is, above all else, about resilience. He fought through the pain, he fought through the criticism, the pressure, and he didn't just come back to form. No, he climbed even higher, reaching the absolute peak of the sport.
On February 24, 2010, he did something that many people thought was just impossible. Against a world-class South African team, he became the first male cricketer in history to score a double century, 200 runs, in a one-day international. He completely shattered the barrier.
So he had broken pretty much every individual batting record you could imagine. Most runs, most centuries, the first to 200 in an ODI. But despite playing in 5 World Cups, there was this one team prize, this one dream he'd been chasing his entire career that was still missing.
And then finally, it happened. In his 6th World Cup, on his home turf in Mumbai, in front of a crowd that was just going absolutely wild, the dream came true. India were world champions. He's often said that this was the proudest and most cherished moment of his entire life.
And that raw emotion of the moment was perfectly captured by young Virat Kohli. As his teammates lifted him onto their shoulders for a victory lap, it was just the perfect tribute. For 2 decades he carried them, and now it was their turn to carry him.
And then he reached that final, monumental milestone. The wait for his 100th International 100 had become this huge national obsession, and he later admitted it was an incredibly difficult and draining time. But he got there, cementing a record that will likely stand for all time. So, beyond all these records, what's his true legacy?
After playing a world record 200 test matches, Sachin Tendulkar finally retired in November 2013, right in front of his home crowd in Mumbai. But his impact on both cricket and on India, it goes so much further than just the incredible numbers.
I mean, just take a second and look at those final numbers. They're staggering. To play 664 international matches over 24 years and keep up that level of excellence, it's just a testament to his unbelievable skill, his consistency, and a longevity that is almost unheard of in such a tough sport.
So, what you should really take away from his story isn't just the records, but the qualities that made him who he was. His complete and total dedication, the courage he showed from day one, his amazing ability to perform anywhere in the world, the resilience to come back from career-ending setbacks, and through it all, this deep humility, where the team's prize, the World Cup, meant more to him than any of his 100 individual centuries.
He is still by far the most worshipped cricketer in the world. A true hero whose journey from being a kid in Mumbai to a global icon continues to inspire millions. And that kind of leaves us with one final thought. What's the true measure of his greatness? Is it the records that might never be broken? Or is it the hope and pure joy he gave to 1 billion people every single time he picked up a bat?